A Scotsman planning a trip to the Holy Land was aghast to find that it would cost $200 an hour to rent a boat on the Sea of Galilee. Hoot, he said. In Scotland, it wouldn't be more than $40. That might be true, said a travel agent, but you have to remember, this is the water on which our Lord himself walked. Well, said the Scotsman, at $200 an hour for a boat, it's no wonder he walked. Oh, I'll get emails on that one. That's okay. And I like this one. I just got lost in thought. It wasn't familiar territory. Wow. You know, don't think I will ever forget 1983. I was sitting in my first Unity church, and I know about the area I was seated in, and I'd been there going just for a few Sundays to this church, and I was sitting, and the woman was, in 1983, I walked in, and there was a woman minister, and I was like, oh my God, there's women that are ministers. But anyway, so I was sitting there, and all of a sudden, I got it. I got it, and it was something that changed my life. And what I got was, thoughts are things. I really got that. Was not taught that in a church that I grew up in, that thoughts are literally things, and that these thoughts are creative. Wow, so I got that part. And a friend that brought me to that church, we were fairly newly sober, and we both lived in the French Quarter. And so how I started, first of all, I started this way with thoughts or things. I started, with walking down the street, and I'd have a negative thought, and I'd shout out, stop it. I literally had to put words to that, stop it, to begin to change my thinking. Of course, my friend, he knew exactly what we were doing. So he started, stop it too. And probably we got some strange looks, but I really don't care. It was the French Quarter, and so it was wonderful. But I cannot tell you how important this is. It's one of the bases of our teaching, that thoughts are things. And if we think thoughts are things and so important, watch out for words. There's the light. There's photon and proton light. And the photon light's like these lights here. They just go in every direction. Even when you try to focus them, the light still leaks out. But with laser light, you can either create or destroy with laser light. You can reattach an eye, a rectum. You can do everything that you need to do. And as far as surgery is concerned, you can use it in meaningful ways. Well, when we take these thoughts that are random, and we begin to put them into words, wow, they are very creative. They are focused. It's like laser. And so what we can do with these words, and we know this, you know this if you've been coming here for 2 sessions, you know this, that words are important and they are creative. And we also know that words, my dear friends, words that we speak, we have a choice. We can either create good with these words, or we can create and destroy with these words. You got it? Of course you got it. So that's the lesson. Let's go. No, I'm just going. We got a few other things I want to talk about. But other thing is these words, they are so powerful. We think that, at one time I thought that a word just, no. We put thought behind these words now because they are so creative. Not only are they creative, the words that I speak and the words that you speak, dear friends, that affects our biology. Did you know that? It affects the DNA. It affects our brain. It affects our cells in our body. That's how important these words are. literally affects our health and our well-being. And let me share something else with you. They are effective as the intensity that we put them forth with, the intensity of thought. So can you imagine if you're in an argument with your spouse, or someone else, and you start that intensity? It is not a good thing. It begins to destroy not only your body and your mind, but it also begins to destroy those people that hear it as long as they take it in. Think of a child. How parents sometimes in their innocence, they don't know the importance of expressing this to a child. And they take it in and they begin to, that's authority figure, they begin to believe whatever they hear from their parents. They believe it. And so that's how important the word is as well. We put it out there, it affects us, it affects others as well, as long as we take it in and absorb it. But maybe sometimes when the word comes out from someone else, maybe it's time to go, cancel. I'm not going to take that in. The word also in written form is also creative. When we write and we read, it begins also, we take it in from that author. We take it in, and we either take it in or not. So be careful, my dear friends, what not only we listen to, but what we read as well. You know, and the Quest, the Jafalas that wrote the Quest, they talk about in a chapter about how, you know, the subconscious mind is subconscious mind. They don't know, the subconscious mind takes it at face value. They use the example, I could really relate to this. They use the example of giddy up. Giddy up. The horses in the South, or the mules in the South, they understand giddy up, okay? It means get going. So you say giddy up, and that horse is going to get going. You might not have meant for the horse to get going, but it goes. You may not mean for these words to have an effect on you or to have an effect on your loved ones, but it goes into our subconscious mind, and it has an effect on who and what we are. Wow. Now, if you think that it's strong on an individual basis, when a group of people affirm something, it is powerful. It is much more powerful than an individual affirming it. So when we affirm our mission, our vision, our building, it's not just because it's nice and something to affirm. It's because it has a tremendous amount of power to it. When we get 2 or 3 or more people together of like mind, and we begin to affirm, it again is creative and very strong. So it's important to do this as a congregation, and we do it quite often as a congregation. I want to talk about 2 little words that's really important in my life and creative, and that is the word I am. Some of you are going like this, you know the importance of I am. When God asked Moses asked God, who should I say sent me to relieve all these people from Egypt in Exodus? And he says, say, I am sent me. I am is another name for God. It's one of the most creative things that we can use in our life to create our reality. I am. Whatever we attach the I am to is we're saying in strong potential, this can come true. I am good. I am great. I am fabulous. And you are too. And that's not being arrogant. I am prosperous. I am healthy. I am whole. And when we attach that to it, it has so much power. Now, the opposite is true too, right? Oh, you just don't know what kind of day I've had. Oh, I am so disappointed. We say I am, we attract more disappointment to us. I am sorry. You're not sorry. Might be, I apologize, but I'm not sorry. I apologize. So be careful on what you attach that I am to that you are using. It is so important. You got it? I won't dwell on it anymore then. Emmett Fox. Oh, Emmett Fox. Oh, if you've Sermon on the Mount, right? Other readings. He's written a little book called Stake Your Claim. And I was guided to this book in my preparation this morning. And I don't like when I'm guided in the morning. I like it all done at night. But he says, if you want health, then claim every day that God is your health. That as a child of God, you are perfect health, appearance notwithstanding, and that divine life brings well-being to every part of your body. Pat, how can I say that I am healthy when I am diagnosed with stage 4 cancer? How can I say that? It's a challenge. But I would suggest that you try it. Because the spiritual aspect of us is always whole. You know, we're not saying that, I have we're not saying, I don't like saying I have cancer. You've heard me use this before. I have cancer. No, you don't. The I am of you never has cancer. The spiritual aspect of you never has cancer. So we change that. My body is experiencing cancer. Do you see the difference? Well, I want us to start using it. My body is experiencing cancer. The I am is always whole, and the I am is always strong in potential. Mr. Fox goes on to say, if you want prosperity, then claim every day that God is your prosperity and the giver of every good gift, that God knows you and is ready to more than supply your every need. So again, I want to go back to the health thing. We are not denying the facts in any of this. For goodness sakes, we're not denying the facts. But we're also saying that these do not have power over me, especially the I am of me. Prosperity. Prosperity, we claim prosperity. If you don't have any money in your checking account, don't go write a check. But you can be prosperous with a prosperous attitude regardless of what kind of money you have in your checking account, right? Thank you, all 5 of you that believe that. Thank you. You can be prosperous regardless of the money you have in your account. Those of you that's taken prosperity courses here, you know that. It's consciousness. It's consciousness, and we begin to feel that and know that, then it begins to manifest in our life. If you want peace and harmony, then claim every day that God brings you the peace that passes all understanding, that all things work together for good to them that love God. Whatever is you wish to bring into your life, stake your claim to it. Claim it with powerful affirmations. Claim it. Now, let's get clear. You're not claiming it for someone else. You're claiming it for you. When you claim that you want peace in your life, that's what you're doing. You want peace you can do that for yourself regardless of what's going on in the world. Do you believe that? It's challenging, but you can do it. You can have peace in your heart regardless of what's going on in the world. And we have peace in our heart, then it shows up in our life. So don't let these outer things that are going on right now, and many I do not like, but do not let these outer things get me in a place of not being peaceful, of not being prosperous. Because if it does, then I am adding to the issue and not helping to heal the issue. Okay, I feel like I've gone to preaching, and I'll be quiet on that, okay? Today we do something that's really important, and that is the White Stone service. The White Stone service, and Karen's going to lead us in that in just a few minutes. But I want to just share a little bit about the White Stone service. Someone asked me prior to the services, I loved it. Are you going to explain these rocks? Yes, we are. I love it. I love that, because everybody perhaps has not done this. But I'm going to read the scripture where it comes from, and then Karen's going to lead us in a meditation. It comes from 2:17 in Revelations. I've said before, if they had left the book of Revelations out, I would have been okay with it. But the bottom line is that means that I still have work to do around my own work around that. But I'm going to read from 2:17. It says, Revelations 2:17, let anyone who has an ear listen to what the Spirit is saying to the churches. To everyone who conquers, I will give some hidden manna, and I will give a white stone. And on the white stone is written a new name that no one knows except the one that receives it. Now, churches, metaphysically here, means it's our individual consciousness. Our individual consciousness is a church. And there's many congregants in this church, our individual consciousness. There's many things that make it up. It's thoughts and ideas, hopes and dreams. Everything that we're conscious about makes up our church, and they're all in our church. And then he says, listen, anyone who has an ear, listen to what Spirit is saying to our consciousness. Listen. Not with the ear, but with the ear of the heart. Let that be heard. What comes up for you is from the ear of the heart. Let it be, and what is Spirit saying to me once I become aware of Spirit working in and through my life? And he goes on to, everyone who conquers, I will give some hidden manna. Well, everyone who conquers what? Conquers this right here. Conquers those thoughts. Conquers those things and begin to change our life and work these principles, then we go through a transformation and it changes us, or it takes us to a higher place in consciousness. So when we do that, then we receive some hidden manna. Hidden manna, you might remember when they wandered in the desert for 40 years, and every day they got their manna. It came only once a day. It came once a day. But this hidden manna tells us about, I will give you unlimited potential. That's what I will do with you. Once you begin to change your mind and change your life, then you have unlimited potential. And I will give you a white stone. Wow. In Jesus' time, a white stone meant that you were free. Perhaps you had been a prisoner, and that now I have this white stone in my pocket, and it says, wow, I am free. And once we receive a white stone, it says, I am free. I am no longer the person that I was. I am a new person. I've created a new being within me. I've transformed. And on this stone is written a new name that no one knows except the one who receives it. This new name will come from Spirit within you. Karen will lead us in a meditation. We're going to open our hearts to receive a new name, and we're going to write it on the stone. And then we're going to share that stone with no one, especially those that do not support you. If you do break down and share it, share it with someone you know that's going to love and support you to achieve this. So be open to Spirit on what Spirit's going to be revealing today to you through this important meditation. Be open to Spirit. A new name that no one knows except you. Wow. I want to share one other thing, too, about, I forgot to share it. Can you believe that? So, of course you can. So, the words that we speak, I cannot tell you how important they are. They not only are creative, but they create the same consciousness that you have today. Now, let me explain that a little better. If you are using negative words, it keeps you where you are and keeps you creating again and again and again the same thing. You got that? So we have to break that. It may be stop it. It may be whatever we need to do. It may be stop it. And there's no accident that today's word is faith. Faith, that perceiving power of the mind, linked with the power to shape substance in our life. Faith that gives us the opportunity to create a new Pat Williamson this year and a new you this year. So we were talking about earlier at the congregation. I know nobody's going to want to ever shake my hand prior to a service anymore because I use you as an example. But it was so wonderful. We talked about expectations. And I looked and I said, that we usually get what we expect. We usually get it. That's called faith. So let's expect good this year, right? I expect good. Together, I expect good. I'm going to continue this. I am whole and well. Together, I am whole and well. I am prosperous. Together, I am prosperous. I am at peace. Together, I am at peace. Let's settle in. And Laurie and the band's here, and let's just settle in for a few minutes and become quiet. Does anyone need a white stone? White stone? We're doing so much better handing these out, aren't we? One person. Okay. Anybody need pencils?